camping for Lions veterans. Year 5 of the Dan Campbell era gets underway in Detroit. Alongside me here is our senior NFL writer, Jeremy Fowler. And we know what to expect from Dan Campbell. However, many are unfamiliar with their new DC, Kelvin Shepherd, and their new OC, John Morton. So how different will things be in Detroit this season?
Well, I mean, it's still all about Dan Campbell. He's actually one of the best offensive minds in the NFL. He just doesn't always get credit for it because he says the motivational speeches, and he's known for that. But this guy gets to it on offense, comes from the Sean Payton school. But you see John Morton there, new OC. So they're going to break it all down in their own way because they have so many options on offense that they can get the ball to. They're not going to really overthink this. You could see, some more deep shots at Jameson Williams, their third-year receiver. They're going into his fourth year. They feel like he's a game breaker, only 6 targets per game last year. He could get more of a look. Jahmyr Gibbs could actually line up wide to be more of a wideout slash running back at times. They're just going to get their best playmakers the ball whenever they can. You see Jared Goff there. He could take more ownership of the offense too because now he's worked under both Sean McVay and Ben Johnson, 2 of the best offensive minds in the game. He's a top 10 quarterback now, so he will put his imprint on whatever they do with the direction of the offense. And then defensively, Kelvin Shepherd, they feel like they have in an in-house promotion a rising star, somebody who could be a head coach in the future. And he's set up nicely now with Aiden Hutchinson coming back from that injury. They were just so beat up in the front 7. They will be fully healthy going into this year, so they might not have to blitz all that often. They can get pressure with Hutchinson and those guys. Then they have a great secondary to take advantage of that.
Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson being back for that Detroit defense is going to be huge in this season. Meanwhile, the Cowboys veterans report on Monday, and Micah Parsons still has not received a new extension. I'm sure he saw how much TJ Watt got. How much might Watt's deal impact what Micah Parsons gets at some point?
Yeah, well, the Cowboys are going to have to put something on it in this case because he's only 26, 4 years younger than Watt and Myles Garrett and all these guys getting these $40 million per year deals and more. So he's probably going to be over that threshold. He's on a Reggie White type pace early in his first 4 years. And so the situation here with Dallas is pretty simple. They tend to slow play these things. Last year they re-signed CeeDee Lamb in late August. So this could be a similar situation. Certainly Parsons would like to have a deal done. I think he's thinking, hey, we have a chance to do something special. I want to get this contract behind me so I can continue to produce sacks for this defense. Could take a little bit of time, but they are prioritizing Parsons. They want to get that done. And then a little different situation there with Shemar Stewart, first-round pick in Cincinnati. Bengals rookies report today. He is without a contract right now, has not signed. They're still at a stalemate, so he's weighing his options. One of his options is simply to just stay away from the team, to continue to stay away until he gets a deal done. There was some chatter online about would he go back to college, try to snag an NIL deal. I would say that's unlikely at this point. He would prefer to play in Cincinnati if they can work something out. Now they got Trey Hendrickson and Stewart. Their 2 top passers are still out.
Yeah, and time is ticking. Bengals first training camp practice.
Happy Friday and welcome to NFL Live. We've got a full house and a packed show for you. Sam Macho, Jeremy Fowler, RC in the house, and Courtney Cronin here in the host chair. And man, it is a good time to be a pass rusher in the NFL as Pittsburgh's TJ Watt became the league's highest paid non-quarterback again. Watt agreed to a 3-year, $123 million contract extension, his $41 million average per year, setting the floor even higher for pass rushers than the deal signed by Cleveland's Myles Garrett that pays him $40 million annually. Watt joining Garrett, Houston's Danielle Hunter, and Vegas' Max Crosby as the league's top edge rushers who got the bag this offseason. You see the numbers there. Watt had 108 career sacks, which ranks 3rd most through 8 NFL seasons since sacks became official in the early 80s, only trailing Reggie White and DeMarcus Ware. And check this out, that number I just mentioned, 108. There is significance to it. 108 career sacks, and he received $108 million fully guaranteed. So exactly $1 million per sack. Incredible stuff here. RC, I'm going to start with you. Beyond TJ Watt, I know your Steelers have been super active this offseason. What do you make of Watt's payday and what it signals for Pittsburgh's approach this season?
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing is you did what you were supposed to do by giving TJ Watt what he's earned and what he has the potential to produce on the field for you. But you look at some of the other moves they made. You go out and you get Jonnu Smith and DK Metcalf. You draft Caleb Johnson out of Iowa at the running back position, and you wait on Aaron Rodgers instead of taking a quarterback at 21 that you don't really see being the future of the franchise. Omar Khan is trying to win, and he's trying to win now. Darius Slay at corner, Jalen Ramsey as a utility defensive back. I love what they've done, but where will that put them in the AFC? Are you better than Kansas City? Are you better than Baltimore? Are you better than Buffalo? Hell, are you even better than the Cincinnati Bengals? So all of these things have to come together under Mike Tomlin for what Omar Khan did this offseason, which is a departure from who Pittsburgh is to show dividends on the field.
Yeah, and it should show dividends, at least on the defensive side of the ball with some of those additions. I understand that losing Minkah Fitzpatrick hurts, but adding guys like Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, those are going to be big additions for a pass defense that did struggle. My questions still remain on the offensive side of the ball. Caleb Johnson's a big addition, but you waited for Aaron Rodgers. Will he be able to take you not only to the playoffs, but to win in the playoffs? And so, yes, you're making so many moves. You're locking up your star players, but still, will it be enough? I still have question marks on if it'll be enough for this Pittsburgh Steelers team to compete for a title in the AFC.
All right, Jeremy, we know that TJ Watt turns 30 years old this offseason. And there are a lot of people out there who might say a contract of this magnitude for a player of his age might not be worth it. Let's talk about it, though. What does this mean from a salary cap perspective and how it affects the Steelers moving forward?
They're actually okay, Courtney, if they keep their quarterback costs down, which we know Aaron Rodgers is affordable this year. I expect the Steelers to draft a quarterback in the 2026 draft. That would put them on a rookie-scale quarterback. They could build around him with these huge numbers like TJ Watt is earning. He's only got a $23 million cap hit this year. It's not too bad. Next year, that goes up to $42 million the next few years. That's like quarterback money. But when I check with people in Pittsburgh, they all say the same thing. We are trying to build a Super Bowl winning roster. Whether they have the quarterback or not to do that is the question. But around the quarterback, they have a lot of pieces now, including one of the best pass rushers in the NFL.
But that's the thing, though, right? You're building this Super Bowl winning roster. Will you have a quarterback that can go win a Super Bowl? Aaron Rodgers this year, we know what his age is. We know that he doesn't plan on playing an extended period of time. So are you willing to make the moves? If you're a good football team this year, you win 10, 11 games, become a playoff football team, are you willing to move up and go get that dude so that this playoff roster pays dividends right now? Because with some of these older pieces that you're adding, it doesn't seem like you're working to win 10 years from now. It's like you're working to win now, much like we saw the Los Angeles Rams do in 2021.
Acho, I know that cost is obviously pretty high, but TJ Watt is one of the best pass rushers in the league. You think it's worth it?
Oh, 100% worth it. People talk a lot about his age, but they shouldn't be talking about his age. They should be talking about TJ Watt's production. Since 2017, no one has more sacks than him, more forced fumbles, more quarterback hits, more tackles for loss. And so age, you can talk about age all you want, but his production, it emanates past him. He helps guys to the left of him. He helps guys who are on the inside. He helps guys like Alex Highsmith passing on the opposite side, pass rushing on the opposite side. So for me, I look at the production that he has earned, and he's worth every penny. And Jeremy said it earlier, the salary cap is going to increase as these seasons continue. And so that cap hit that he has right now, it's not going to be as much as a salary cap increases.
Man, you had to do this, right? TJ Watt earned this contract. You're taking care of all of these people that aren't lifelong Pittsburgh Steelers. You're going to get this sort of production from TJ Watt this year, next year, and the year after. As long as he's healthy and he's on the field, you know what he produces. You also know the way that equates star, the linchpin of your entire organization, not only happy, but taken care of was a must. I love the deal by Omar Khan, and now TJ Watt has to make him right.
As we know, pass rushers often have second primes. It's one of those positions that when you get 30, sometimes you get better. TJ Watt, on the note of his health, only missed 11 games since 2017. Steelers' record in those games, 1-10. So glad that they locked him up. All right, let's stay in the AFC North. Let's head west to Cleveland, where training camp begins today for Browns rookies with a quarterback battle front and center and a chance for some fresh faces to make an early statement. Defensive tackle Mason Graham, the Browns' first-round pick, walking into the building today. And speaking of that QB competition, there's Dylan Gabriel. So Browns have had their fair share of quarterbacks over the years, so stop me if you've heard this before. They have fielded a total of 40 since returning to the NFL in 1999, the most in the league. Only 3 of those 40 QBs have a winning record as a starter, including 40-year-old Joe Flacco, who is set for his second stint in Cleveland this season. Jeremy, what more can you tell us about the Browns quarterback battle as camp begins.
Yeah, Courtney, here's how this is going to go down. The first week or two of training camp, I expect the Browns to run it similarly to the spring, OTAs and mini camp, where all 4 quarterbacks, the 2 rookies, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, trading blows, getting a lot of different throws, working on opposite fields, first team, second team, third team. You're going to see all that. And then Kevin Stefanski, the head coach, will crystallize the pecking order. I do expect Joe Flacco to be in the mix there. He's certainly the incumbent, probably the favorite at this point. And Shedeur Sanders did impress in the spring. Like, he was willing to throw the ball in tight windows. He was accurate. But when you ask people with Cleveland, they do bring some caution there. We're like, look, he was working against the third team a lot, not much of a pass rush. He's got a ways to go, and so that will probably show early on in camp.
RC, how important is it for these rookies to get acclimated with the offense in training camp?
Well, first off, guys, I think I can hear you, Courtney, but right behind me, UFC 318, they're having soundtrack for the weigh-in, and I don't know what the hell we're talking about, but I think we're talking about Cleveland, so here's what I got. They got to figure out how they're going to tier these repetitions. Jeremy talked about the first 2 weeks, right? To me, it should be a battle of the first 2 weeks. Who's the best old guy? Is it Joe Flacco? Is it Kenny Pickett? Now, let's figure out who's the young guy that we expect could be able to take reps this year. And once you figure that out, that's the way you have to move forward to me. I don't expect either of these rookies to be the day one starter, but I expect them to get reps at some point. So Kevin Stefanski needs to figure out early on, if Kenny Pickett's going to be our day one, let's get him the reps to be ready. But whichever one of these rookies seems more ready to play in his first year, let's make sure he's prepared to be the backup.
Yeah, I do have concerns, though. If you figure out if that old guy's going to be number one, let's say it is Joe Flacco, and let's say Joe Flacco early on isn't moving. Let's say he's moving like an old guy. Let's say he's unable to move in the pocket. All of a sudden, you're losing early, week 1, week 2. If a guy like Shedeur Sanders, who is a quarterback who talks about rhythm and timing, he's not necessarily elusive per se, but he fits in Kevin Stefanski's scheme. If he improves, I think he should get a legitimate shot to be the starter. Will it happen? No, I don't think it'll happen because it's the preseason. You're going against 2s and 3s, as we said. But if he can put enough pressure on the coaching staff and on his teammates to show everyone that he should be the legitimate starter, it may not happen week 1, but early in the season, if one of the older quarterbacks is not producing, I believe that a quarterback like Shedeur Sanders, who fits this scheme, should get an early opportunity.
So RC said that he doesn't anticipate any of the rookie quarterbacks starting early this season. The last time that a quarterback drafted as late as Shedeur Sanders started a season opener for the Browns was Randy Hedberg in 1977. All right, to another big story across the league. NFL Players Association Executive Director Floyd Howell resigned late Thursday, ending his 2-year tenure as the leader of the union. Howell's resignation comes after weeks of controversy after reporting from ESPN's Don Van Natta and Kalen Kaler revealed that Howell was working part-time as a consultant for a private equity firm that's seeking ownership in NFL teams. He was also once sued for sexual discrimination and retaliation while working as an executive in a previous job. So, Jeremy, a lot to digest here.
Yeah.
What does this mean for the Players Association?
This means relief for a lot of people inside the building in Washington, D.C. at the Players Association. Lloyd Howell did not get up on the right foot early on in his tenure. It has not gone well. A lot of people there are pretty happy because those things you outlined, that was the tip of the iceberg. And we saw Don Van Natta, Kalen Kaler reporting up to the date. There were strip club expenses that were involved and alleged here that came out today. So the hits have been coming almost daily. And so now my sense is the NFLPA will want to get back to its roots a little bit. You know, they have some internal candidates that could be in an interim executive role. Don Davis, who represents the players, is one name that comes up pretty often when you talk to people there. I've even heard maybe DeMaurice Smith could get back involved. This whole process has made him look like Patrick Mahomes a little bit in comparison to how badly this went with Lloyd Howell. So the next ball to drop to is J.C. Tretter, former player who's been heavily involved. He's believed to be really tied to the hip a little bit with Lloyd Howell, that he was supporting him at one point. We'll see how that goes.
There's also some controversy about how Lloyd Howell came into position here, kind of a secretive process for how he was elected. There's no CBA negotiations, though, for a couple of years, so obviously a pretty tenuous time within the Players Association, but they do have some time before they figure out what their leadership structure is. And all eyes are on first-rounder Matthew Golden, who's expected to be a key piece in this offense. Golden making history before he even steps on the field. Green Bay has not drafted a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. In fact, the Packers had gone 22 straight drafts without taking a wide receiver, tight end, or running back in the first round, which is the longest streak in the NFL since the common draft era began in '67. And of course, the timing couldn't be any better for Packers fans who watched their wideouts drop 25 passes last season. most in the NFL and their most in a season since at least 06 when we started tracking drops. Green Bay wideouts also ranked 20th in targets, so a lack of drops despite a lack of targets. Welcome back in here to NFL Live. Jeremy, I'm starting with you. We know Christian